Believe it or not, I actually fixed my caffeine addiction by quitting it for a month. And today I'm gonna tell you all about that, but first a little background on my caffeine addiction. Before I started the challenge, I used to drink 2 or 3 coffees a day, or 2 coffees and 1 energy drink, or 1 coffee and 1 energy drink. In general, my daily caffeine intake would vary somewhere in between 150 and 300 milligrams on my worst days. And now that sucked for a few reasons. The main one being my poor sleep quality. So with the amounts of caffeine that I ingested, my sleep was terrible. A very common scenario would be me drinking 1 or 2 coffees during my work hours, and then at around 4 p.m, so before hitting a gym, I would drink another energy drink. Then I would hit the gym and spend around 2 hours. And this combination of lots of caffeine as well as increased levels of cortisol and dopamine after the gym resulted in me not being able to fall asleep and just basically staying awake until like 3 a.m. Sometimes I was not able to fall asleep at all. So there is this sleep hormone called adenosine, which builds up during the day, and then in the evening when it's released, it allows you to fall asleep. And caffeine basically blocks the receptors of this hormone, which results in people being more alert and not being able to fall asleep. Now I should probably mention that even if you're one of these people that don't struggle with falling asleep even after ingesting ungodly amounts of caffeine, your sleep quality is still affected. Just because you can fall asleep right after drinking coffee in the evening doesn't mean your sleep quality is perfect. It is very much affected by caffeine. Another issue is how fast my body adjusted to these high levels of caffeine in my system. There was a time when 1 coffee in the morning would be more than enough to keep me awake during the day, but you quickly get used to it and your body only needs more and more. A more personal issue of mine was the addiction aspect itself. I don't like the idea of being dependent on anything to survive throughout the day, and I really dislike the idea of caffeine being my main fuel for that. Needless to say, I've had many sleepless nights because of how much caffeine I ingested, and it was this vicious cycle in which after a sleepless night I would have to drink the coffee in the morning anyways in order to stay awake, in order to survive the day, which was already messing up my, let's call it, sleep potential for the night to come. So I decided to go into a caffeine detox for a month. The first 2 days were filled with headaches because my addicted brain and body expected another dose of my drug. I did notice a little grogginess for the first week where I was just walking around sleepy. I didn't have enough energy to go as hard during my workouts as I would like. But I made it a point not to nap during the day so that I could have a quality sleep come nighttime. Now I cannot say that this challenge entirely fixed my sleeping issues because, well, they are rooted in some more psychological issues of which maybe I will make a video about soon, but it did improve my sleep significantly enough for me to be able to function normally throughout the day and to complete my regular workouts without feeling sleepy all the time. Throughout the challenge I drank decaf once in a while just to get a little dopamine from the ritual of drinking coffee itself. And yes, I do know that decaf still contains a little bit of caffeine, but I honestly didn't care about a few milligrams here and there. By week 3 I've already realized that I didn't in fact need nearly as much caffeine to function normally as I used to consume before the challenge. When you get enough sleep and the quality is acceptable, then your energy levels are pretty consistent throughout the day, and so I made it to the end of the challenge without any sort of issues. It was never my plan to quit coffee and caffeine completely, as I'm a huge fan of coffee, but I went a few additional days before I tasted coffee for the first time. And when I did, it honestly felt like cocaine. Fast forward 3 months, now I drink 1 cup of coffee a day, usually in the morning, but definitely before noon, as not to disturb my sleep in any way, because unfortunately caffeine can stay in your system up to 12 hours. And now I can safely say that my sleep quality is much better, with occasional bad nights. My energy levels are stable during the day and I don't struggle with my workouts at all. I also wanted to stress the fact that I do a lot of things to keep my energy levels and sleep quality healthy, such as sunlight exposure in the morning, blocking blue light in the evening, red light therapy, taking various supplements, working out consistently. So while fixing my caffeine addiction was not the sole reason for my improved sleep and life quality, it did contribute to some extent. Quitting caffeine for a month was enough for me to fix my addiction, but I cannot say that this could be applied to absolutely everyone. I think in some cases gradually decreasing amounts of caffeine consumed could be easier and provide better results, whereas for others individuals like me, quitting cold turkey can do the trick.